All right, everyone, welcome to Strictly Sports. I am Jacob Brown, joined here with Stephen Cash, and you're listening to our Minnesota Twins 2020 season preview. They were 101 and 61 last season. Wow, over 100 wins, really impressive. They set the major league record in home runs with 307 for a team in one season. Absolutely incredible. We're going to do it how we always do it: adds and subtractions, lineup, bench, rotation, bullpen, prospects. So who did they lose? They lost two starting pitchers: Kyle Gibson to Texas on a nice contract there. And actually, they didn't lose two starting pitchers; they lost one. They traded away Brusdar Graterol, nasty bullpen pitcher in the Kenta Maeda trade with the Dodgers. They lost Ryan Harper. C.J. Cron and Jonathan Schoop went to the Tigers. Trevor Hildenberger, a reliever, went to the Red Sox. Cole Stewart to the Orioles. Sam Dyson, still a free agent. Fan favorite of mine. I always loved watching Ronald Torreyes play. He reunites with Joe Girardi and the Phillies. And then Ryan Lamar goes to your Tampa Bay Rays as like a minor league outfielder. Who did the Twins add on minor league deals? They added Cody Gearin, a pretty reliable reliever. He might be a nice piece. Jhoulys Chacin really struggled last year, been kind of a journeyman, 10-year vet. He's going to fill in as their five-starter while there's some injured guys, and they got Blaine Hardy from the Tigers. Their main additions, though, they did a really nice job. They re-signed Jake Odorizzi, Sergio Romo, and Michael Pineda to contracts, so they kept all three of them. They added Matt Wisler on a deal, Alex Avila from the Diamondbacks, Tyler Clippard from the Indians. They added Homer Bailey from the A's, Rich Hill from the Dodgers. So they added two pieces in that rotation, actually three with Kenta Maeda from the Dodgers. And then the big one, they signed Josh Donaldson to a 4-year, $92 million contract. So let's look at that lineup. And this is the lineup that I've constructed for them. I think it's the one that extends their lineup the most. Leading off and playing second base, Luis Arraez, 23 years old. 334 average, 399 on base percentage, 360 WOBA, 125 weighted run created plus, 4 homers, 28 RBIs in 92 games. So this guy more valuable than Francisco Lindor. Another guy more valuable, Jorge Polanco, another shortstop, switch hitter, 153 games, 22 home runs, 79 RBIs, 295 average, 352 WOBA, 119 weighted run created plus. Nelson Cruz, this dude, I don't know how he still does it. 39 years old. He missed 30 games and hit 41 home runs with 180 RBIs, 311 average, 417 WOBA, 163 weighted run created plus. He's in the Mike Trout, Rendon, Bellinger era. He's absolutely insane. I mean, you think about it, add 30 games. This is a 50, 60 home run type of season. Crazy numbers from Cruz. Josh Donaldson in 155 games, 37 home runs, 94 RBIs, 377 WOBA. Max Kepler in the 5 spot, 36 home runs, 90 RBIs, 355 WOBA. Miguel Sano, 34 bombs in 105 games. So you're talking about another 50 home run potential guy, 378 WOBA. Then Eddie Rosario, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs, 329 WOBA in the 7 spot. Mitch Garver, 404 WOBA, 155 weighted run created plus in the 8 hole in 93 games, 31 bombs. Only reason I have him that low kind of came out of nowhere, and I also don't want to stack up lefties 8-9. I don't usually like hitting lefties back to back. And then I have a platoon in center field with Jake Cave and Byron Buxton platooning against righties and lefties in center field. So, Steven, this might be, with the Dodgers, one of the best lineups we've reviewed so far.
Yeah, if we thought it was deep last year, I mean,
No.
going along, adding Josh Donaldson to the mix, they could break the home run record again this year. I mean, that's just how good this team is, and you go, there's not really a weakness in that lineup. I mean, you can really go and say, Arraez, 4 homers, 28 RBIs, but his weighted runs created plus is 25% above league average. I mean, he's not a guy that really hits for power. He gets on base. He's young. He looks to get that lineup going somehow, some way, get on base, and then Polanco, Cruz, Donaldson, then they all take over from there. So you look at it, a lot of pieces that they did a nice job in getting guys in the right spot. I like this lineup right here, 1 through 9 that we have. Obviously, there's going to be some movement around, but you look at 8, 9 too. You can really mix and match different guys. I mean, instead of righties, you got Jake Cave, and then I like Byron Buxton against righties. He's fast, a guy who really can flip the lineup and give it back to the top with Polanco on them. So there's not a whole lot of room for mistakes for pitching staffs coming in and facing these guys. So that's what makes them so dangerous. You have power-stricken lineup, from 2 to 6, and then you have your outside pieces that can really flip and roll the lineup. Eddie Rosario, 109 RBIs. No one talked about last year, really. It just kind of flew underneath the radar, and you guys. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then you got Nelson Cruz. Shit, he's 39 years old, and he's still doing this. I mean, like I said, you give him another 20, 30 games, and he's hitting, I mean, I give him 60 homers almost. I mean, it's
maybe possible.
It's crazy how this lineup, it just produces so much. I mean, last year, I didn't get a chance to watch them a whole lot. Just being in that Central Division, I don't watch particularly enough baseball from that division. You don't see them a whole lot, but just really did a nice job in getting Josh Donaldson into that lineup and really complementing himself with Cruz and Kepler and Sano. So you really dangerous lineup. This team, I don't see anyone dethroning them anytime soon.
No, I mean, like, they set the home run record without Josh Donaldson. And think about this too. Sano did not play the full season. Cruz did not play the full season. If they had, I mean, Jesus, I mean, you could have had two guys at 50 homers. So that would have been an even grander total. Now, you could say in their time where they were injured, C.J. Cron and Jonathan Scope made up for that home run production. So you are losing some of their power because both of those guys hit 25 apiece. So you are losing 50 home runs in between those two players. But I would say in the games you're getting back with Cruz and Sano, you're gaining that power back potentially. That's how much power those two have. And even with Mitch Garver, 93 games, 30 bombs, you give him, because catchers don't play 162, you give him another 30 games, maybe he's a 40 home run guy. Only thing I would hesitate with Mitch Garver, the year before this, he was still above league average, but only 7 home runs in 103 games. So maybe the juice balls, we talk about that a few times. Like, let's see this again for Mitch Garver. That's why I have him in the 8 hole. But even Jake Cave and Byron Buxton, they're both above league average players. So 1 through 9, you're significantly above league average. There's literally, I mean, not even the Dodgers can say that right now because Gavin Lux hasn't done it at the big league level. So really incredible lineup here for the Twins.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was looking at one thing too with Sano, his strikeout percentage is a 36%.
Yes, yeah.
That one weakness there too. Yeah, he has power, has potential to really do some damage, but talk about a hole in the lineup. Maybe potentially, you go match up there, get your best bullpen guy into the game, and really match him up together, and you could have the potential to strike a guy out like that. He narrows the strikeouts, gets the numbers down. You're looking at a guy who.
Hello?
If he gets strikeouts down, he's RBI.
Yeah.
Get that.
Yo. You went out for a second for like 30 seconds. So just like repeat what like you were just saying.
All right. So yeah, I look at a guy like Sano, and it's that number down. It's correlated with RBIs. So you get that percentage down to into the 15-20% even. You're looking at a guy who can really get his RBIs to the 100 range. So Sano, he has the numbers already. Get the strikeouts down, and you're looking at a really solid 6-hitter and a guy you can rely on every day at first base.
Yeah, and you can mix and match this lineup any way too. I mean, you could have Kepler leading off with the power. You get a 36 home run guy in the leadoff spot. That's like, wow, you're starting off with thump. And he did lead off a lot for them. Only problem, walks 336 OBP, Arise 399 OBP. I'd prefer a guy that gets on base and sets up everyone else. I mean, if Kepler's hitting behind Polanco, Cruz, Donaldson, he'll have way more RBI opportunities. That's kind of what I was thinking when designing this lineup. And the tough thing really is, like Mitch Garver, based on last year, he should be hitting ahead of Rosario. But again, like I said, I don't like hitting lefties back to back if you had Rosario and Cave, 8-9 in that lineup. So they do have some guys on the bench too. Marwin Gonzalez. This is kind of proof to the cheating for the Astros. Amazing years with the Astros, came to the Twins, went right back to what he was before Houston, a really below average player. Just it proves the cheating in Houston, in my estimation. They also have a higher Adrianzo. He may or may not play a lot. Again, Arise kind of take over the second base position. This is a guy that kind of fill in day to day, giving guys days off. And then they have Willians Estudio. They actually have 3 catchers on this roster with Avila, Estudio, and Garver. And they had 3 last year as well with Jason Castro. So that's kind of who they're replacing there. Amazing lineup. Really, there's not much you could say about it, really. We're just going to keep raving about it. But you look at this rotation, this is where, it's going to have some question marks. Jose Barrios, I like him a lot. 32 starts, 200 innings, it's great. 3.68 ERA, 8.76 Ks per 9, 195 total strikeouts, that's great. Jake Odorizzi, 30 games started, 159 innings, 3.5 ERA, 10 Ks per 9, home runs under 1. But 2018, 4.5 ERA. So who is he? Kenta Maeda, 26 games started, 37 total games with the Dodgers, 4.04 ERA, 10 strikeouts per 9. This is a guy, kind of the same dude every year. Not really concerned with him. He'll be that guy this year. Homer Bailey, though, 163 innings pitched, 4.57 ERA. I like that. It's good for a 4-starter. But before that, he did not have an ERA under 5.5 since 2014. He was the worst pitcher in baseball for like 5 years. So don't tell me this guy is automatically going to be a 4-starter. I need to see it again. Rich Hill, 40 years old. I love the stats. 13 games started, 2.5 ERA, 11 strikeouts per 9. But stay healthy. He's going to be injured to start the season. He's injured every year with blister problems, with shoulder problems. He's got to stay healthy at 40 years old. And then they have Jalees Chacin, 6 ERA last year in 100 innings. He's been good in the past, but as your 5-starter, that could be really terrible if you can't count on Rich Hill to stay healthy. So, Steven, you look at this rotation, it might be right there with the White Sox at, if it's good, it's really good. If it's not good, though, they could be screwed.
Yeah, and I'm going to, a key example last year was, going and facing the Yankees in the postseason. I look at that. Great offensive numbers throughout the season. And then you went and faced a Yankees team that could really give you 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in the postseason and really just match up pitching wise. And the Twins got swept. They kind of got punched in the mouth there by New York, and you lost 10-4, 8-2, 5-1. So you gave up a lot of runs in that series. But you look at guys that are older in this rotation, like can they, like Maeda, Homer Bailey, even Rich Hill, guys that are have been in the league a while, but can they back up these years that they've been having with the numbers, But there's not, to me, in this rotation, your best guy, I think, is Jake Odorizzi, a guy who can really give you a lot of innings. Strikeouts are up there, 10 per 9, just about. And I think the walks, if he gets him down just a little bit, doesn't give a whole lot of homers per 9. But guys that I don't see clearly as that you don't have a clear and cut number 1 starter to me. All their numbers are kind of the same. ERA's around a mid, 3.5, and you have Michael Pineda in there. So you have guys in the mix. It's not a bad rotation by any stretch. You really have guys that can eat up innings, but in terms of being the team that they want to be and win a World Series potentially, I don't think you have that star power to really lock down a series and just compete with a team like New York or LA if you ever got to the World Series and just dominate, because they can really roll out 4 guys on you, and in a blink of an eye you're down 2-0 in a series because your pitching isn't up to par with these really good contending teams. So that's just my knock on them, but overall great team offensively.
Yeah, we didn't mention Michael Pineda as well. 26 games started last year, 146 innings, 4 ERA, 8.63 Ks per 9, FIP at 4.02. So it's showing that he really is that 4 ERA guy. Now, if he could be in there, that's a different story. And we do know, and I'm actually not clear on why he's missing the first half. It might actually be a suspension for him, and I'll look that up in a second. But this is a guy, if he can get in there, even if you get him for half a season, now you're talking Barrios, Odorizzi, Maeda, Pineda. That's 4 pretty good starters, kind of the same guy, 4 straight guys, kind of give you the same level of stuff. But you're right about their performance against the Yankees. The Yankees went right through them like it was nothing. I'm a Yankee fan, and this isn't no slight to the Twins. I think they're a really dangerous lineup. But when that series started, I wasn't even scared. I was like, the Yankees just beat the Twins every year. I don't think they're even going to lose a game. And look what happened. They swept through. So this is a great team, but they are not, I shouldn't say they're not at the Yankees level because they added Josh Donaldson, but they need to prove it to people they can get past the big dog and beat the Yankees because they have it with the lineup. They just need to make sure the pitching can do it.
Yeah, I was really shocked last year when I remember watching that. I remember watching that first game, and really the Yankees just freaking they just bullied them, and I was surprised because this offense kind of got shut down by the Yankees pitching. That's where it comes down at the end of the day. It's like regular season's a different I mean, postseason is a different animal than the regular season journey. It's just you're going to face better pitching. They're going to put their best guys are always out there. You're not going to see guys you saw in the regular season, in mid-season matchups against these teams. So really, for me, for the Twins to make that next step, they got to really show they can do it in October because regular season they're off the charts, winning 100 games, and then you get to the postseason, it's like you see a completely different team, and that comes along with the pitching too. I think they kind of got a little intimidated by the moment. You're going to Yankee Stadium, it's cold in October. I mean, it's just they faced a couple things that I think that they hadn't seen in a while with a team that's not necessarily young but hadn't been to the playoffs in a while. But it's a learning experience, and I think last year getting swept could be the best thing that could have happened for them, for a team that wants to come back. And we learn from their mistakes, and now potentially let's work on that and try to get back there and potentially give them a 5-game series, whoever they end up facing.
Yeah, and just to add here, I did look up Michael Pineda, suspended for 60 games of the season because of PEDs. Why are you taking steroids at this point? It's just like every time I see guys get suspended for steroids in 2020, it's like, where have you been? I mean, come on, you're going to get caught.
Exactly. You're gonna get smoked, and the league's gonna crack down on it. It's you're not gonna avoid it. And so if he would have pitched a whole season, I think you would have seen really good things from him. It just you never got the production because he missed so much time.
Yeah, well, it's this season for the suspension, so it's
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if there's a shortened season, which it will be, he might not be a very large contributor until much later.
Yeah.
So
right, yeah.
Yeah, and they signed him to a contract too. They gave him some money, so it's interesting why they did that. But you look at this bullpen, and this is actually something that's a little underrated. When people talk about them with the postseason specifically, it's like they don't have the arms. They kind of do. I mean, Taylor Rogers, their closer, 30 saves, 69 innings, 2.61 ERA, 11.74 Ks per nine, 1.04 home runs per nine. He's right there with Brad Hand as that type of closer from the left-hand side. Nice sinker ball type guy. Trevor May, setup guy, has a track record, 11 strikeouts per nine, 64 innings. Sergio Romo, a journeyman, multiple time, I think 3-time World Series champion with the Giants, 3.43 ERA, 1.04 home runs per nine. They added Tyler Clippard. They added Matt Wisler. So this is a bullpen that can kind of get it done. They didn't add much to it other than Tyler Clippard, but, maybe it's something that could piece some things together.
Yeah, they have a lot of good things going for them in the backside of this bullpen. Like I said, Taylor Rogers, I mean, a dominant closer, striking a lot of guys out, 30 saves, ERA's down at 2.6. So this bullpen didn't have a whole lot of stress situations either, too. I mean, so you look at it, I keep comparing it to the postseason. The offense is so good, so this bullpen never really had to go into really pressure situations where it's do or die to win this ball game. They had a lot of cushions, in a lot of games where offense is scoring 8 runs, it's 8-2, and you don't really have to worry about really locking down. They got to the Yankees and just their bullpen kind of got pushed around too because they were in pressure situations that they haven't been accustomed to all year. And I think that was a great learning situation for them. And another year of experience to this bullpen, and they'll be better. They'll be back stronger this year. And I think adding that adversity to the mix of this team that is already good enough to be there, you're going to see some good things from this team all the way around. And they're one of the most complete teams in all of baseball right now.
They really are. I mean, they really deserve the respect in that stance. They really are a tremendous team. So let's look at these prospects, and they're actually really good prospect-wise. They're ranked number 10 in Major League Baseball according to our system. They have a 52 APR, which means their prospects average out to be around, the 50th ranked prospect in baseball, and they have a 70 TPRP. Number 9 prospect in baseball, 20-year-old shortstop Royce Lewis. He's 21 years old in June. Decent minor league numbers, but he was the first overall pick in 2017. So watch out for him in a few years. They have number 32 prospect Alex Kirilloff, 22 years old, left-handed hitter, 347 WOBA in 94 games with 9 homers in Double A. 22 years old, maybe a year or two away, but who knows where he even fits in. So that's for a few years from now. They have number 81 prospect outfielder Trevor Larnach, 23 years old, really good numbers in the minor leagues, and then number 87 Jordan Balazovic, 21 years old, 6'5", 14 games started in Single A, 2.84 ERA, 11.84 Ks per nine. So I really like seeing that. And then 11 games started Double A, 11.38 Ks per nine. So he's keeping up that strikeout production. So if I look at this minor league system, I would say there's some prospects that you have here. They might be blocked from some guys at the major league level. Why don't you trade them and maybe get some more starting pitching help?
Yeah, exactly. You can look at it two different ways too. You could either sit there and wait and let these guys keep developing, but they're blocked off by guys in the starting lineup. So you have a lot of room for trade assets if you need pitching help. Because you never know in baseball, guys get injured and you need to make that split-second decision. You need a trade. You have to reel in guys. You have got 4 guys here in Double A that are almost big league ready, if not they're already. Trade them for something. Guys that are already blocked off. I look at guys like Lewis. I mean, you could really get a lot of trade value for him. He's big league ready at age of 20, so you have a lot of potential for these guys to really reel you in some more prospects that are younger that you can develop. So when guys leave town, they're ready to go, or you get guys that are ready to go already and other teams and build yourself even stronger to make a deeper postseason run. So you can go one of two ways with this.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say, I don't know if they want to do this, but you could even trade Jorge Polanco because you have Royce Lewis on the way. This is a guy, stats better than Francisco Lindor. So you might be able to get a lot of value for a guy like Jorge Polanco, but, because this offense can definitely survive without him. They've got tons of way above league average hitters. So that could also happen, but I know they also do like Polanco a lot because young player, switch hitter, again, better stats than Lindor. He might be a guy that they want to keep around. So you look at this division, I think it's pretty clear. We both think they're going to win the division. But what do you think of their offseason? What would you give them as a grade?
I give them an A just because you didn't do anything. You added Josh Donaldson, a great player, added a ton of power already to this star-studded lineup, 1 through 9. Didn't really do much you didn't get rid of a whole lot, and you replaced him with guys like Kenta Maeda, Rich Hill, Homer Bailey. You got that starting rotation in a solid place, a good place to really give yourself a chance to win 100 games again. So I give him an A just based on the fact that you got Josh Donaldson, you landed a big fish, and you kept the rotation intact and the whole team intact to make another run again with the same core group of guys. And I got them. I don't see anyone dethroning them anytime soon, like I said, unless something disastrous happens and injuries plague this team. I don't see anyone really knocking on their door and taking them off the throne this year, at least.
Yeah, the White Sox are close, but I just don't think it's going to happen. You can go position by position. You can compare. Let's see. So Donaldson to Moncada. You can go either way with those two, right? They're probably even. You could say, Max Kepler is better than Nomar Mazara and right. Center field might be Robert for the White Sox is better than Jake Cave and Buxton. Eloy Jimenez might be better than Eddie Rosario. So you look at actually the White Sox, they could actually have some position players that are better than some of the position players on the Twins. It is closer than you would think.
Oh yeah, it's might not be there this year. I think the White Sox give them a run for their money in terms of how close their lineups are closely together. But I just think I give them the edge in pitching right now just because they have that experience. They have guys that have shown they can be consistent in other rotations and other teams. But you give this White Sox team a year. This year it'd be close, but after this coming season, it's going to be them and the White Sox, battling it out year in and year out for the foreseeable future, and it's going to be good for this division. It's going to be good for baseball to see the White Sox back again. So a lot of exciting things. You're seeing new teams, and the disparity in the league is just now you see more teams competing, and it's great for the game of baseball.
Yeah, and I think that'll do it here for this Minnesota Twins podcast. We've covered all the bases here, and I hope you guys enjoyed all of our AL Central pods. We're moving on to our last division here. AL East will come out tomorrow with the Baltimore Orioles. This is the division. Steven's a Rays fan. I'm a Yankee fan. This is the one we saved for last just because, these are the most fun for us. We're doing two separate Yankee pods. I'm going to do one with Steven and then one with my dad and my brother just because we want to do that, and I think it would be fun to do that. And yeah, so we've had the NFL stuff coming out, NBA and NHL stuff coming out, FAU athletics pod, got a bunch of stuff coming out. After these baseball pods are done, we're going to get into potentially top 10 position rankings, but that's a little bit a ways away because we're going to do all this other stuff first. But thank you guys for listening. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a bunch of other platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at Strict Sports FAU. For Stephen Cashin, I am Jacob Brown, and we will see you next time.